Good morning, students. Today we will learn process of accounting. But before we start with that, let's do definition of accounting. So accounting is all about calculating paperwork and all that, but it is not that stressful like shown in this picture. It's simple. Let's understand the definition first. American Institute of Certified Public Accountants have defined accounting as it is the art of recording. So the very first thing is you need to record things somewhere, then you need to classify those things, then you need to summarize it in a significant manner and in terms of money. So usually all money related transactions we record, we classify and we summarize, which are in part at least of financial character, and then we interpret the results thereof. So first you have to record, then you have to classify, then you have to summarize, and then interpret the results and inform people who are interested. So this is the definition of accounting. Another definition: accounting is the process of identifying. First, you identify what are the transactions, then measure, and then communicate economic information to permit informed judgment and decision by the users of the information. So, you have to not just do it, calculate it, find it, but you have to also inform it to the users so that they can take proper judgment on the basis of your accounting data. So both the definitions basically focus on the process of accounting. So when I talk of process of accounting, it involves the following steps. The very first is recording. Now I'll explain this with an example. Suppose uh, your uh, your father has gone to a vegetable market to buy vegetables. So when he goes there and he procures vegetables, your mother has given him a list and he has taken it to the market. He has procured all the vegetables and he comes back home. Once he comes back home, what he does first is he records. What does he record? He records the expenses. How much I have spent, where I have spent, where all the money went, how many vegetables have come, and all those records are maintained clearly. After he records them, he tries to classify them. How will he classify? Now he has recorded a certain amount of expenses. He needs to classify it as whether these are regular household expenses or those are his personal expenses. Like for example, if he has bought vegetables and groceries, they are household expenses. And suppose he has bought a perfume for himself, so that becomes his personal expense, so it comes under other category. And suppose he's bought a video game for a small kid at home, that comes in another category. So he needs to classify where the money went. He cannot put everything under one head and say that I had been to market and I have spent 3000. Where, how those 3000 was spent, classifying is very important. So the second step is to classify. After he classifies, he summarizes, because at the end of the month he needs to know what was the salary that came, how much that he spent, and how much did he save. And in this month, if he has spent more, where has he spent that? So if you prepare a summary statement, it will be easy for you to refer back again, and every time you want to know what you did, you can just look at that summary instead of going through a detailed version of it. Once the summary is ready, he will prepare his financial statements. So this is what the companies also do. And once the financial statements are ready, you can interpret whether I have performed good or bad in this particular month, in this particular year. And if you have performed good, you have made profits, you have saved a lot of money, you have spent less, it is really good. If not, you will have to plan for spending less, saving more in the upcoming month or upcoming year. So interpreting the results of your financial statements. And finally, communicating it. He cannot keep all these details only to him, right? He needs to tell it to the family members also. He needs to tell it to his wife. See, this month we have overspent so many, maybe 10,000 rupees. So next month we have to take care, because we cannot spend like this. He needs to tell the kids, see, don't demand much things. I have to pay your fees this month. I have to pay a certain bill this month, so it's really difficult. So he needs to communicate. Only then you will understand why he is denying on a certain things. Otherwise you will feel that he never gives anything, he never buys anything. So this is the actual process of accounting in simple words. Now let us understand it in Business language. When I talk of business, daily there will be certain transactions or events occurring. Now what is the difference between an event and a transaction? A boy, maybe a boy comes to your office and delivers certain goods to you, that is an event. Okay, now after he delivers those goods to you, you make the payment, that is transaction. So anything that is related to money becomes a transaction. If you're spending money on something, or if you're going to spend money in the future, or you're receiving money, or you're going to receive money in the future, anything that is related to money is a transaction, otherwise it will be an event. And in accounting we record transactions, not events. So only money related matters are recorded. And where do we record? We record it in a journal, that is the book of prime entry, or the first book in which all the transactions are recorded as per the rules. What are the rules? Who has framed the rules? We'll understand it now. The second step is classifying. Now in a day the business may do around thousands of transactions. Everything will get recorded in a single book journal. But if I want to see what are my purchases yesterday, what was my sales yesterday, I need to read the entire journal and find purchase and sales values. It's difficult, right? So what we do is we classify, we create separate accounts. For purchases one account, for sales one account, for payment of electricity bill we'll have electricity bill account, wages account. Then we have separate account for raw material stock. So we need to classify our expenses or incomes or assets or liabilities. Now what is uh, how do you classify? There are certain rules for classification, I'll show you here. Usually if it is a expense or income, you will put it in a nominal account. Okay, so if you have spent money or if you have earned money, you will put it in a nominal account. And if you are in relation with some person and you're dealing with him, so if you owe something, that means if you have to pay something to somebody, or if you have to receive something from somebody, you will record it in a personal account. So you go to canteen, you have your lunch there. Okay, so where were we? We were in the classification. So if you owe something to a person, or the person wants to give you something, we put it in the personal account because it's related to a person, an individual. So we need to put it in a personal account. And suppose you are writing something on the physical things that exist, that you can touch, feel, and see, like cash, building, machinery, you put them in the real account. Why real account? Because it is real, you can see it exists, so you put it as an asset in your real account. Okay, so there are three ways of classifying the account. One is nominal accounts, in which all your incomes and expenses go. Second is personal account, in which all the people with whom you are trading, and you have to give them money or you have to receive money from them, we maintain their account there. And the last one is the real account, where you enter all your assets which you can touch, feel, and see. Now what is the rule of entry? Now why rule is required? Okay, an account is divided into two parts. The one part we call it as debit and the other part we call it as credit. These are simply names. Okay, because you need to name something, you just can't say part 1 part 2, so they've named it as debit and credit. Now why we need two parts, why we need debit and credit, why we need these rules? See, if you don't have rules you will mess it up. If you don't have traffic rules, everybody will start coming from one lane and going from the same lane, and what will happen? There will be traffic jam, there will be accidents, then no signals, no rules, everything will get chaos. Same as with accounting. If there is no rule, no classification, you don't have separate accounts and rules to enter there, then your entire financials will become a chaos. You will not understand where the money came from, where the money went to. So to avoid such things, they have given some accounting rules. and we also call them as golden rules of accounting. So what are those rules? It says debit and credit. So in the real account where we take all the assets, if you're buying the asset or if the asset is coming in, you debit it. So debit what comes in. And if you're selling the asset or the asset is going out because of any other reason, we credit it and we say credit what goes out. So for real account, if the asset is coming in, you debit. If it is going out, you credit. It's the simple logic, right? Next, the next account is nominal account. Now I told you in nominal account we enter the expenses and incomes, right? So if you are spending money, you enter it on the debit side. Debit all expenses and losses, and credit all incomes and gains. So on the credit side we put all the incomes. Then personal account. Personal account is about people. And what we do with people, either we have to give them money or they have to give us money. So there are two people. That is, one is receiver, the other is giver. So if it is the receiver, you debit the receiver. If it is the giver, you credit the giver. Alright, so personal account says whoever is the receiver, you should always debit that person's account, and whoever is the giver, you should always credit that person's account. So these are basic rules of accounting. And here, if you see, I have summarized again. In nominal account, we take incomes and expenses. In personal account, we take assets and liabilities, and in real account, we take only assets. So this was about classifying. It was a little elaborate explanation because I wanted to tell you about the rules and how we can classify. The next step is summarizing. When we go to summarizing, all the accounts that we have prepared, we balance them at the end of the year. We close them and we understand how much is the balance. So what is my cash balance, what is my sales balance, what is my purchases balance, how much is the stock remaining, how much expenses I have to still pay. Everything balance we get at the end of the year. All these balances can be entered in a single statement. We call it as a summary statement, or we call it as a trial balance. When we enter all the expenses in a, or all the transactions, income, expense, in a single statement, that is, we close all the accounts and only the balances when we enter there, we can easily summarize and say at the end of the year I have a cash balance of 5 lakh rupees. At the end of the year I have purchased this goods of 2 lakh rupees. So it gives you the balance of each account. So that is summarizing, easily understandable, traceable. We can see it and we can inform very easily. Okay, now using this summary we will prepare our financial statements. Why are financial statements required? Because accounts won't tell you whether you have made profit or loss. To know the profit or loss, you need to prepare your financial statements. So we'll prepare profit and loss account and balance sheet. Now why two financial statements? Profit and loss account will tell you whether you have made profit or no, and your balance sheet will tell you how many assets you have and how many liabilities you have. What is asset? Asset is something that you own, it is my property, and liability is something that you have to pay to others or you owe to others. So it is a, you're liable to pay, you have to pay legally, you're liable to pay that, right? So balance sheet tells you how much are your assets as compared to your liabilities, so how much you own and how much you have to pay to others. So financial statements gives you your stand of the business. Where does your business stand as of today? After preparing financial statements, we interpret those statements. Now for interpreting, you can just read those statements and understand, or you can prepare ratios, and when you interpret it well, only then you will be able to take further decisions. After you interpret it, you can't keep it to yourself. You need to communicate it to everyone associated with your company, your employees, your customers, your suppliers, your people who are giving you funds, your financial investors. You need to tell them how you're performing, what's your business stand. So you need to communicate this information. So this is the process of accounting. Now the last part I had put was, who are the users of accounting statements? So to whom you have to communicate? You have to communicate it to the investors who invest money in your business by buying your shares. You need to communicate your financial details to the lenders of funds, that is banks, other financial institutions, cooperative societies. You need to tell it to the suppliers of goods or services from whom you buy raw material. He should know whether you're making profit or no. Only then he will give you raw material on credit and he will trust on you. You need to tell your employees that we are working very good, great, financial conditions are good. They will stay with you for years together then. You need to inform your customers that the company's financials are strong enough and the company is not going to go anywhere in the near future. You need to inform your auditors. Who are auditors? Auditors are people who come and check whether you have done your accounts properly or no. Are you doing any fraud? Have you done any mistake in recording the accounting details? So you need to inform your auditors, this is how I have prepared, and they will check and certify that it is right or it is wrong. Then you need to inform government and their agencies. Why? Because we have to pay taxes. So if I have made profit, I have to tell government this is the profit, and on this much is the tax that I have paid. If I have made losses, I have to say this year I have not made any profit, so this year I won't be paying any taxes. I have to inform the management of the company because they are the owners, so they should know whether the company is growing or no, and they can plan for the future. And you also need to tell the general public, because you need to inform them that you are not harming the society and instead providing employment and helping in well-being and growth of the country. So these are the investors or users of accounting statements. So this was about the accounting process. I hope it was clear. In the next session we will cover accounting concepts and conventions. Thank you.